Everyone is saying, you act like you don't care anymore, but they don't see how much strength it takes to survive silently. Everyone is saying, you act distant, not realizing distance is the only way you learned to protect your heart. Everyone is saying you act cold, but they never stayed long enough to feel how deeply you once burned. Everyone is saying you act different now, as if pain doesn't have the power to rewrite a soul. Everyone is saying you act unbothered, while inside you're carrying memories that still whisper your name at night. Everyone is saying you act like nothing affects you, not knowing how many emotions you swallowed to keep going. Everyone is saying you act selfish, but no one remembers how much of yourself you gave away for free. Everyone is saying you act heartless, forgetting they were the ones who taught you how to numb your feelings. Everyone is saying you act stronger than before, yet no one asks what it cost you to become this way. Everyone is saying you act mysterious, not realizing silence became safer than explaining yourself. Everyone is saying you act proud, when in reality, you're just tired of begging to be understood. Everyone is saying you act like you don't need anyone, because needing people once nearly destroyed you. Everyone is saying you act fearless, unaware of how often you fight panic behind a calm face. Everyone is saying you act different around love, but they never saw how love once left you empty. Everyone is saying you act guarded, as if being open never taught you painful lessons. Everyone is saying you act distant from people, not knowing closeness became a dangerous place for you. Everyone is saying you act quiet, while your mind is louder than any room you've ever entered. Everyone is saying you act like you've changed, not realizing change was the only way you survived. Everyone is saying you act arrogant, but it's just self-respect they aren't used to seeing. Everyone is saying you act emotionless, yet you feel everything too deeply to show it. Everyone is saying you act like you don't trust anyone, forgetting how often trust betrayed you. Everyone is saying you act cold toward affection, because warmth once came with conditions. Everyone is saying you act detached, not knowing attachment once broke you apart piece by piece. Everyone is saying you act strong alone, because leaning on others taught you disappointment. Everyone is saying you act like you've moved on, but moving forward doesn't erase what shaped you. Everyone is saying you act closed off, as if your heart wasn't once wide open and wounded. Everyone is saying you act strange now, not realizing growth often looks unfamiliar to those who stayed the same. Everyone is saying you act calm, unaware of the storms you learned to control. Everyone is saying you act indifferent, but indifference was learned after caring too much. Everyone is saying you act like you don't feel pain, while pain quietly built your backbone. Everyone is saying you act distant from love, not seeing how love once drained you dry. Everyone is saying you act guarded with words because honesty was once used against you. Everyone is saying you act like you don't belong when you simply outgrew the room. Everyone is saying you act like you don't need validation because you finally stopped seeking approval. Everyone is saying you act like nothing surprises you after life showed you its worst. Everyone is saying you act reserved, not knowing openness cost you too much. Everyone is saying you act fearless in silence because you learned noise attracts the wrong people. Everyone is saying you act unavailable, forgetting how available you once were to everyone but yourself. Everyone is saying you act colder now, unaware that warmth was taken for weakness. Everyone is saying you act different with emotions because emotions were once used to control you. Everyone is saying you act like you don't care about opinions after opinions tried to define you. Everyone is saying you act distant from your past because remembering it hurts more than forgetting. Everyone is saying you act unbreakable, not knowing how many times you broke in private. Everyone is saying you act cautious, as if caution wasn't earned through pain. Everyone is saying you act like you've hardened, but really you've healed in a way they don't recognize. Everyone is saying you act detached from drama because chaos once felt like home. Everyone is saying you act quiet in crowds because your soul is done screaming for attention. Everyone is saying you act like you don't trust love because love once trusted you to survive betrayal. Everyone is saying you act like you're hiding when you're just choosing peace. Everyone is saying you act like you've changed personalities, not realizing trauma reshapes identity. Everyone is saying you act emotionally distant because closeness once meant pain.